Hi, my name is Robert, and I study sociology, and this is my senior thesis project on gentrification and Chicago housing affordability. So we know that urban developments are essential for local economic growth, but oftentimes these projects may lead to a phenomenon called gentrification. Essentially, it is a process that transforms a developing neighborhood by attracting more affluent residents, usually white people in the case of the US. This will create a positive feedback loop on rent and housing prices and displace former residents. Eventually, the neighborhood will be forever changed. In the past, scholars have categorized gentrification into two main types, political and cultural, each focusing on a different aspect of gentrification, such as local politics or lifestyles. Gentrification is hard to measure due to its complexity, but some common ones are displacements, race, and educational attainments. Chicago is known for its segregated and racialized neighborhoods across the city. Urban developments often involve neighborhoods from different economic levels. This juxtaposition creates modern version of gentrification, where everything comes together. Therefore, I decided to do a case study on Chicago's 606 bike trail because it basically was a reinvestment project across neighborhoods that vary in economic status. To do so, I looked at housing affordability and the social composition of those neighborhoods before and after the 606 was built. I hypothesized that the bike trail would encourage gentrification, hence attracting more white, affluent, educated young professionals. As a result, housing affordability will be lower, and in addition, it will hit the disinvested areas more. For data collection, I collected Chicago census tract data from American Community Survey between 2010 to 2017. After I compiled the dataset, I performed a linear regression called difference in differences that compares the trend of the treatment and the control group. In this case, the treatment is obviously the bike trail. Since this study involves time series, there is also a binary variable in my model that indicates the time variable. Together, the time and bike trail variable create an interaction term that distinguishes the treatment group from the control one. However, the findings did not match my expectations necessarily. I found that property values around the 606 dropped significantly slower than the ones in Chicago. This means that the housing affordability has decreased, but only with respect to other regions in Chicago. As for social composition, the exact effect is unclear. The neighborhoods around the 606 were already better off to begin with, and the gap between affluent and non-affluent neighborhoods was also very wide. Specifically, race and educational attainments did not have a statistically significant results, but the region does have more migration going on. In other words, we can still say that the former residents are being replaced by newer residents, despite that the persona of those residents are probably similar to the ones before. These findings definitely gave a new perspective on gentrification. Before, gentrification is about changing the neighborhood. However, in this case, the change is actually being resilient to the changes. On the other hand, this project is limited because I did not consider spatial relation between the bike trail and these neighborhoods. Furthermore, the variables could be in another way since a lot of them were highly correlated. Moving forward, spatial regression will be an essential next step for studying how gentrification affects modern neighborhoods. That's it for my presentation. Thank you so much for tuning in.